Welcome to Weird Laws from A to W. Let's talk about laws. The rules of the land, those rules that keep us from chaos, providing a framework for society to function. But sometimes, let's be honest, they're just plain weird, downright bizarre even. Take Alabama, for example, famous for football, a state that breathes and lives for the sport. Peanuts, another source of pride and agricultural significance. And bizarrely, a long-standing ban on playing dominoes on Sundays. Yes, you heard that right. Yes, dominoes. The porch game your grandpa loves, a simple pastime enjoyed by generations. For decades, a Sunday domino game could technically get you in trouble with the law. Can you believe it? Picture it. A sunny afternoon, friends gathered, enjoying each other's company, dominoes clicking, the gentle clatter filling the air, and suddenly, you're an outlaw. Public enemy number one. This wasn't some ancient, forgotten rule gathering dust in the archives. It stuck around well into modern times. The law didn't just ban gambling or general fun, it went a step further. It called out dominoes by name, singling out this innocent game. You have to wonder, who in the Alabama legislature had it out for dominoes? What was their motivation? Maybe someone lost a bet, a particularly painful defeat, or maybe they just hated the sound of tiles clicking together. But this odd law is a reminder. Our legal system is shaped by real people, with real quirks, biases and personal experiences, and sometimes very specific grudges, influencing the laws that govern us all. These so-called blue laws give us a peek into what society once feared or valued, reflecting the moral landscape of a bygone era. Alabama's anti-domino crusade isn't just trivia, a funny little footnote in history. It's a story about how laws can outlive their purpose, becoming relics of the past and ultimately, comedy gold. And it all started with a simple game on a Sunday afternoon, a seemingly harmless activity that somehow became a legal taboo. To understand this, let's rewind to 1896. Alabama lawmakers, swept up in a wave of religious conservatism, wanted Sundays to be sacred. No games, no noise, just rest and reflection. So they wrote a law targeting immoral activities, and dominoes made the list. Blue laws like this weren't unique to Alabama. Many states had them, all aiming to enforce a certain vision of public morality. The thinking was simple: ban fun, encourage virtue. Dominoes, seen as a gateway to gambling and rowdiness, got lumped in with cards and racing. Lawmakers weren't joking. They genuinely thought they were protecting civilization, one tile at a time. Ironically, their serious effort is what makes it so funny today. So why dominoes? What's the connection between this seemingly innocent game and the halls of legislation? It might seem absurd at first glance, but let's delve into the historical context to understand the logic, or perhaps the illogic, behind these peculiar laws. In the late 1800s, dominoes weren't just a family game enjoyed around the parlor. They held a far more prominent place in society than we might imagine today. They were a fixture in saloons and gambling halls, a common pastime alongside cards and dice. These games were often associated with less than reputable activities. Lawmakers, grappling with the social issues of the time, saw banning dominoes as an easy way to crack down on gambling. It was a seemingly simple solution to a complex problem. It allowed them to address the issue without catching anyone red-handed in the act of gambling. A preventative measure of sorts. Instead of policing every single game and gambling den, which would have been a logistical nightmare, they just banned the whole activity on Sundays, a day of rest and religious observance. It's like banning all dogs because a few might bite, a rather extreme response to a limited problem. Overkill perhaps, but undeniably easier to enforce than monitoring every game of dominoes in every establishment. The law grouped dominoes with cards and dice, effectively painting them as the unholy trifecta of Sunday sin, all contributing to the perceived moral decay. The real targets, of course, were the more serious vices of gambling and public drunkenness, which were seen as threats to social order. Dominoes in this grand scheme were just collateral damage, an unfortunate casualty in the war against perceived immorality. Lawmakers genuinely believed that by removing temptation, they could engineer a more moral and upright society, free from the perceived evils of gambling and related vices. The thinking was simple: if you couldn't play, you couldn't gamble. Problem solved, or at least that was the prevailing theory at the time. It's a simplistic view of human behavior, to be sure, but it stuck around in the legal code for generations, a testament to the enduring power of outdated ideas. And now, looking back, it serves as a quirky window into the mindset of the era, offering a glimpse into the values and anxieties of a bygone time. Alabama's domino ban, as peculiar as it seems, was just one example of the many blue laws that once governed aspects of daily life across the United States. These were essentially rules designed to enforce religious observance, with a particular emphasis on Sundays, traditionally considered a day of rest and worship in Christian traditions. The term blue laws itself dates back to the era of Puritan New England, a period characterized by strict moral codes and a strong emphasis on religious piety. It's believed the name originated from the fact that these codes were often printed on blue paper, making them easily identifiable. These laws cast a wide net, banning everything from engaging in work and unnecessary travel. They even extended to prohibiting sports and recreational activities and even making excessive noise on Sundays, ensuring a day of quiet contemplation. The overarching goal was to ensure Sunday was observed as a day solely dedicated to worship and rest, rather than one of leisure and enjoyment. For businesses, these laws often translated to significant lost income due to mandatory closures. And for families, it often meant enforced boredom, with limited options for entertainment or recreation. Over time, the justifications for blue laws began to shift, moving away from purely religious grounds to more secular ones. The focus shifted to emphasizing the importance of providing workers with a dedicated day off for rest and recuperation. But at their core, these laws were still fundamentally about controlling. Specifically, controlling how individuals chose to spend their Sundays and their leisure time. The result was a culture of restriction and limited personal freedom. Unsurprisingly, this led to people finding creative and often humorous ways to skirt the rules and find loopholes. Eventually, as society evolved and values shifted, many of these blue laws became outdated and were gradually repealed. However, their legacy continues to linger in some odd and seemingly anachronistic statutes, such as Alabama's peculiar domino ban. They serve as a reminder of how laws can profoundly shape, and at times inadvertently stifle, the fabric of everyday life and personal choices. For decades, Alabama's domino law was mostly ignored, a relic, more trivia than threat. Most people didn't even know it existed, and Sunday domino games quietly continued. But in the age of viral news, weird laws like this became embarrassing for the state. Lawmakers realized it was time for a legal spring cleaning. The push to repeal wasn't a public uprising, just legislators modernizing the code. The domino law was outdated, unenforceable, and frankly silly. Removing it was part of a slow, necessary process to keep laws relevant. It's not glamorous work, but it's how the legal system evolves. By 2015, the domino ban was finally history, a punchline, not a policy. Sometimes the wheels of justice grind slowly, but they do get there. So, can you play dominoes on a Sunday in Alabama today? Absolutely. The ban was repealed in 2015 along with other outdated blue laws. The change was led by lawmakers who saw these rules as pointless relics. The repeal passed easily. No one wanted to defend a century-old domino ban. Today, the idea that dominoes threaten public morality is laughable. The story of Alabama's domino law is a civics lesson. Laws reflect their times and sometimes their absurdities. As society changes, so must the rules. And in the end, even the silliest laws can fall, just like a line of dominoes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more weird laws from A to W.